There are forces in this world that are invisible to the eye, yet they weigh heavily on the spirit. You may feel drained without reason, burdened by negative energies, or trapped in cycles of misfortune. These are not coincidences, they are signs of unseen influences working against you. But just as water cleanses the body, there is also a way to wash the spirit. A simple act, when done with intention, has the power to break witchcraft, dissolve curses, and remove spells instantly. Today, I will guide you into understanding how a spiritual head wash can cleanse not just your mind, but your entire destiny. When we speak of cleansing the spirit, we must first understand why the head holds such a profound importance. The head is not just another part of the body, it is the crown of your being. It is the first point through which life energy flows and the place where thoughts, decisions, and intentions are born. If the body is a temple, then the head is the sacred altar. This is why so often negative forces, witchcraft, or curses seek to attack this very place. When the mind becomes clouded, when thoughts become confused, when a heaviness presses down upon the head without explanation, it is usually not just a physical matter. It is the gateway of your spirit being disturbed. Think about it: every blessing, every word, every prayer, every curse, it enters the head first. It shapes how you perceive the world and how you act within it. If your head is not clear, your path will not be clear. If your mind is under attack, even your strength, your emotions, and your willpower will feel weak. That is why protecting the head is protecting your destiny. It is the point of entry for both light and darkness, and what you allow to rest there determines the energy that flows into the rest of your life. This is why a spiritual head wash is not simply symbolic, but deeply powerful. Water cleanses, yes, but with intention. Water becomes a sacred force that clears away the shadows that try to sit on your crown. Many people go through life feeling as though a weight is pressing down on them. They wake up tired, they feel dizzy without reason, they struggle to focus or feel motivated. These are not random experiences. They are signs that the head has become a target of unseen influence. When that influence is washed away, instantly the spirit lifts. The heaviness disappears, and the person feels as though a burden has been removed. To wash the head is to reset the seat of your power. It is to reclaim your authority over your own being. Just as one cleans the face to see clearly, one must cleanse the head to think clearly. And when the thoughts are clear, the emotions stabilize, and the spirit awakens to its natural strength. No curse can withstand a mind that is pure. No spell can hold on to a crown that has been cleansed. No witchcraft can dominate a spirit that knows its own authority. So, when you take the act of washing the head with sacred intention, you are not only washing away negativity, you are declaring that your crown belongs to light, not to darkness. You are taking back control over the most important gateway of your life, ensuring that nothing enters that is not aligned with your highest good. This is the power of beginning with the head, for when the head is free, the whole life becomes free. Since the beginning of time, water has been recognized as the most natural purifier. Before any ritual, before any spiritual practice, water has always been present. It is not only because water refreshes the body, but because water carries memory, energy, and transformation. When you touch water with intention, it responds to that intention. When you pour it over yourself, it does not simply clean the skin, it cleanses the unseen, the hidden layers of energy that surround you. This is why across cultures, rivers, oceans, and springs were considered sacred places, for people knew that stepping into them meant leaving behind heaviness and walking out renewed. A spiritual head wash taps into this timeless truth. It is a recognition that the energy of water goes far beyond the physical. When a person feels attacked by witchcraft or weighed down by curses, the energy they carry is not on the surface. It clings to the aura, it lingers in the spirit, and it presses against the mind. No amount of ordinary washing can remove it. But when you take water with awareness, when you treat it as a channel of divine purification, it becomes a powerful weapon that dissolves those energies immediately. Imagine the feeling of a cool stream washing over your head. In that moment, you are not only refreshing the body, you are allowing the energy of water to break what cannot be seen. You are letting it carry away fear, confusion, and invisible chains that have been tied around your crown. The water does not argue with darkness. It simply washes it away. It does not resist curses. It neutralizes them. That is the effortless power of water. It does not fight, yet it always wins. This is why it is important to approach the act not casually but consciously. If you take water as something ordinary, it will act in an ordinary way. But if you approach it with reverence, if you understand that this element is a gift of creation, it will act as a sacred purifier. In those moments, When water flows over your head, it is not just liquid, it is life itself restoring balance to your being. It is a reminder that no matter how much darkness may attempt to cling to you, it cannot survive when you align yourself with the natural forces of cleansing and renewal. The beauty of water is its simplicity. You do not need anything complicated, you do not need rituals that are heavy or extreme. You only need the awareness that water can carry away what no eye can see. With a spiritual head wash, the intention is everything. And once that intention is placed, the water obeys, it clears the crown, it restores clarity, and it leaves you renewed as if a new chapter of life has begun. When we speak about spells, curses, and witchcraft, we must understand that these forces often do not show themselves in obvious ways. They are subtle, hidden, and silent. They creep into the life of a person not through dramatic displays, but through invisible chains that weigh down the spirit. Suddenly, motivation fades, joy feels distant, and the mind becomes restless or foggy. You find yourself repeating the same struggles over and over again, as though trapped in cycles that never end. These are not coincidences, they are the effects of chains placed upon the unseen self. And when these chains are not broken, they begin to shape the destiny of the one who carries them. A spiritual head wash becomes a direct answer to this. The head, as we know, is the gateway. When negative energy sits there, it commands the rest of the body, the emotions, and even the decisions a person makes. Imagine a crown, but instead of being made of light, it is made of heavy iron pulling you downward. That is what these unseen forces do. They do not always attack with noise, they attack with weight. They suffocate the energy and drain the clarity. But the moment water is applied with sacred intention, those invisible chains are touched by something greater than them. Water breaks what seemed unbreakable, washing it away in a flow that cannot be resisted. The instant relief people feel after such cleansing is no accident. It is not imagination, it is the chains falling off. The sudden lightness in the head, the sense of fresh air entering the mind, the return of energy in the body, these are the signs that the spirit has been released. Darkness relies on silence and secrecy, but water does not negotiate. It reveals and it removes. That is why the breaking of spiritual chains can happen instantly, because the very energy that held them in place cannot withstand the force of purification. We must also recognize that these chains feed on neglect. The longer a person allows heaviness to remain, the tighter the chains become. That is why regular cleansing is vital. To break free once is powerful, but to remain free requires commitment. Just as dust will always return if you leave a place unattended, spiritual dust will try to return to the crown if it is left unprotected. But with each cleansing, the chains lose their grip until they no longer find a place to hold on to. There is no curse stronger than the power of renewal, no spell that can withstand the purity of a cleansed spirit, and no witchcraft that can bind a soul that has washed away its chains. To break free is to reclaim life itself, and in that moment, you realize you were never meant to live in bondage. You were always meant to live in freedom. When the heaviness is removed from the head, something remarkable begins to happen within. The mind, which once felt clouded, suddenly feels like a clear sky after a storm. Energy that was blocked begins to move freely again, and clarity replaces confusion. This is one of the most profound gifts of a spiritual head wash. It is not just about removing what is dark, it is about awakening what is already within you. The spirit does not need to be created, it only needs to be uncovered, to be freed from what has been suppressing it. When the head is cleansed, the flow of energy through the body realigns. You may notice that your thoughts become sharper, your decisions feel lighter, and your inner voice grows stronger. This is not a coincidence. The mind is like a river. When obstacles block the flow, the water becomes stagnant, and with stagnation comes decay. But when those obstacles are lifted, the current moves naturally, and life returns to the river. In the same way, when negativity is washed away from the crown, your natural energy begins to flow with strength and clarity once more. This clarity is more than mental sharpness, it is spiritual vision. You begin to see situations for what they truly are. Where before confusion reigned, now you recognize truth. Where fear once whispered, now courage speaks louder. The awakening of inner clarity means that you are no longer guided by the weight of curses or the fog of spells, but by the wisdom that is already within you. This inner clarity is the greatest defense, because when you see clearly, you do not stumble into traps, you do not become entangled in the same cycles, and you are no longer misled by shadows. Energy is life, and when energy flows, life feels renewed. That is why after cleansing, the body feels lighter, the mind feels brighter, and even the heart feels more open. People often describe it as if a burden has been lifted or as if fresh air has finally entered their soul. This is the natural state of your being, but it was hidden beneath the weight of what was never meant to rest on you. By washing the head, you return to this natural state where energy is alive, awareness is sharp, and the spirit is awakened. And with this awakening comes strength, not the kind of strength that is loud or forceful, but the quiet strength of certainty, of knowing who you are and where you are going. When clarity is restored, fear loses its power, and when energy flows, the spirit cannot be subdued. That is why the spiritual head wash does not only cleanse, it activates. It activates the truth within you and awakens the strength that no curse, no spell, and no witchcraft can suppress. Cleansing is a powerful act, but it is only half of the journey. To wash away darkness, to break curses, and to dissolve spells is to clear the space. Yet once that space is cleared, it must be protected, it must be sealed. Just as a home, once cleaned, requires doors and locks to prevent intruders from entering again, so too does the spirit need shielding after it has been purified. Without protection, the same forces that were removed may try to return, seeking to reclaim the ground they once occupied. This is why the spiritual head wash is not just about removal. It is about building a shield that keeps your crown safe from future attacks. When the head is washed with intention, it becomes charged with light. This light is not visible to the human eye, but it is very real in the spiritual realm. It forms a barrier, a kind of armor that surrounds the crown, making it difficult for witchcraft, curses, or negative energies to penetrate again. Those who have walked through deep cleansing often notice that after the ritual, certain people or situations no longer affect them the same way. Words that once pierced their mind lose their power. Negative presences that once caused heaviness now pass by without effect. This is not imagination, it is the shield of protection taking form. What makes this shield strong is consistency. Every time the head is washed with awareness, another layer of protection is added. It is like forging armor piece by piece until the crown is fully guarded. Just as fire cannot burn what is protected by water, darkness cannot touch what is constantly renewed by cleansing. Over time, this protection becomes so strong that even when negative forces attempt to approach, they find no opening, no weakness, no space to cling to. The crown becomes sealed by purity. This shield also works in another way. It does not only protect you from harm, it strengthens your presence. When your spirit is guarded, your energy carries authority. People sense it, even if they do not understand it. Environments that once felt heavy no longer disturb you, and the attempts of others to project negativity no longer reach your mind. The shield makes you not just free, but untouchable, because what is cleansed and guarded belongs to light, and light cannot be overcome by darkness. So understand that a spiritual head wash is not a temporary relief. It is the foundation of lasting safety. To cleanse is to remove what does not belong, but to protect is to ensure it never returns. Both are necessary, both are powerful, and both belong to those who walk with awareness and discipline. For when the head is cleansed and the crown is shielded, you no longer live at the mercy of unseen attacks. You walk protected, guarded, and untouchable. Cleansing the head once brings freedom, but true strength comes from making it a practice, not just an event. Just as you would not wash your body one time and expect it to stay clean forever, the spirit too requires regular renewal. Life itself exposes us daily to energies, thoughts, and influences that can attach themselves without us even noticing. We walk through environments heavy with negativity, we interact with people carrying their own burdens, and we face challenges that can leave invisible marks on the mind. If these are left unattended, they build up slowly, and before long, the clarity you once felt begins to fade again. This is why the discipline of spiritual renewal is so essential. A spiritual head wash is not meant to be reserved for moments of crisis alone. It is meant to be a consistent practice that keeps the crown free, light, and open. With each cleansing, you prevent heaviness from accumulating. With each renewal, you ensure that spells and curses find no ground to take root. The discipline is not about ritual for ritual's sake. It is about maintaining freedom, the same way we maintain health through daily habits. There is great wisdom in understanding that prevention is more powerful than cure. When you wash the head regularly with awareness, you are not waiting for an attack to strike. You are strengthening yourself so attacks lose their effect before they even arrive. The shield becomes stronger with each practice, and your clarity deepens, your energy flows more freely, and your spirit remains awake. Over time, what once felt like a battle simply becomes a natural state of living in balance and strength. Some may wonder, how often should this be done? The truth is, it depends on the weight of what you carry. For some, once a week may be enough to reset. For others, a daily practice may be needed, especially during times when they feel under pressure or surrounded by negativity. The frequency is not as important as the consistency. What matters is the intention behind it and the commitment to not allow the spirit to grow dull or heavy again. And as this discipline becomes part of your life, it does something deeper than protection. It trains the mind to remain aware. Each time you cleanse, you remind yourself that you are more than the burdens you carry, more than the shadows that try to cling to you. Each time you renew, you reaffirm your alignment with light, peace, and strength. Slowly, this shapes not just your spiritual state, but your entire way of living. Because the truth is, cleansing the head is not just about removing darkness. It is about staying awake, staying strong, and staying aligned. And when you live in that state of constant renewal, no curse can remain, no spell can survive, and no witchcraft can hold on to you.